Hi friends, welcome to today's episode of Bridezillas. In today's episode, we cover 3 different Bridezilla stories. In the first one, OP's husband's best friend's fiance, quite a mouthful, decides that she hates OP because she wanted to set up her fiance with her best friend. In the second story, a bride and her husband feel entitled to thousands of dollars worth of a bachelor party. And in the third one, OP decides that her mother is not allowed to bring a service dog to their wedding. Welcome guys, and I hope you enjoy. This story is titled, Is this considered a bridezilla or did I cross a line? My fiance, 28 male, and I, a 27-year-old female, have been together for 7 years and we are planning our wedding for spring 2023. Anyway, he has a best friend. Let's call him John, who's 28-year-old. John is now getting married to his fiancée. Let's call her Kim. Kim is a very possessive and controlling person and has been this way since I first met her 7 years ago. She came into my fiance's friend group as John's girlfriend, but she always tried to dictate who anyone was allowed to invite, and she claimed she and her own best friend are the only females allowed around the guys. She wanted to set up her best friend with either my fiance or another guy from the group who was single. The other guy moved away for some family business and started dating another girl, and my fiancé stayed in her hometown, so Kim was trying to set him up with her BFF. My fiancé wasn't interested at all and made it clear multiple times. When he got with me, Kim was very bitter and would take it out on me by insulting me and trying to dictate whether I can join them in outings and all that. She said she and John are allowed to hang out together because they are the main couple, but not us. We always had to ask her first. She always tried to exclude me in order to pair my fiancé with her BFF, and my fiancé cut some contact with her and only tolerated her because she was the partner of his best friend. He had tried to set boundaries unsuccessfully many times, so he just avoided her. We got engaged a year ago and Kim was bitter about that, and even my fiancé's best friend said how Kim hates hearing of our engagement because there goes her plan. I don't know why he still tolerates her behavior, knowing how she's wrong, but that's none of my business. Anyway, now they're getting married and my fiancé is a groomsman and Kim's best friend is a bridesmaid. She wants to pair them together, see them together, have them share intimate romantic dances together, and she said random guests like me will be sat in the back of the room. I'm like, yeah, fuck the shit. I'm out, not going. I had enough of that disrespect. My fiancé was also offended by all this and said he'll attend as a guest and he cannot be a pawn in someone's wedding because the bride tries to plan something shady using her wedding as an excuse. Now, despite what both me and my fiancé say, many of our friends blame me for my fiancé stepping down and claim I shouldn't let my jealousy affect someone else's dream wedding regardless of how I feel. Well, this is a 50-50 thing in my mind, I guess. For one, I get where OP is coming from and I understand her hesitance with wanting her to be a part of the wedding in the first place. As far as the wedding is concerned, I guess every country in the world and every culture has a different way of how weddings are set up and how everything runs. Because in my country, whether you like it or not, people get paired off for the wedding. The groomsmen and the bridesmaid will do things as though they are a couple in the most sense. They'll do dances together, they'll walk down the aisle together, they will go on that ship together, they will probably be in the vehicle together as partners. So I don't know how that would affect it. Anyway, most of the people in the comment section are telling OP that she's right, and everyone thinks that the best friend's fiancé is totally a bridezilla. What do you think, guys? What would you do in OP's shoes, and would you have stepped down if you were OP's fiancé? This story is titled Couplezilla Story. My husband was asked to be the best man at his friend's wedding. The couple decided to not get married for 2 years, so they had time to plan their dream wedding and save for their honeymoon to an expensive location. That's cool. To each his own. The planning process was a nightmare. Several friends had dropped from even attending the wedding due to the bride's awful attitude and the groom's sense of entitlement. About 6 months before the wedding, the groom asked my husband about the bachelor party. My husband told the groom that he and the other groomsmen would get a limo and do a back roll with some adult entertainment at a great spot close to home. The groom said nothing. The following day, the bride sent a group text to all groomsmen, ripping them a new a-hole, that they are effing useless and she can't believe she's doing their job for them. She said that they've had 2 years to plan and save, and the bachelor party needed to consist of at least a 3-day weekend in Vegas, renting a suite at Caesar's Palace, and treating the groom like a king and footing the entire bill. I should note, The Hangover was a really popular movie at the time. My husband texted the bride outside of the group text and told her that some life issues had come up and we couldn't afford an extravagant weekend in Vegas, but the backroll would be great and the groom would surely have a good time. Not good enough. She texted paragraphs about how our money problems were not her problems, and if he couldn't do this, they would find another best man who could. My husband, never one to hold his tongue, let alone have a filter, said to her, "Why would I spend all this money? You'll be divorced in 2 years." He was Jazzy Jeffed out of the wedding party and we were uninvited. The groom ended up having 2 bachelor parties, one in Vegas, the other in Montreal, with 2 people in attendance at each. The happy couple filed for divorce 23 months after they were married. This is interesting. I guess Opi's husband can come up and say, "I told you so" to the bride because of what the heck. And I can just imagine that sense of entitlement both this bride and groom have over the point in their lives to afford the things they want for their wedding. If they really wanted these things, they shouldn't depend on other people's finances. They should be able to pay for those expenses and not depend on others. What do you think, guys? Do you think Opi's husband should go back and tell them a good "I told you so"? And what would you have done in his position? Our third story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not allowing my mom's service dog at my wedding?" I know it sounds bad, but let me explain. My mom and I do not have the best of relationships, but she is my mother, so she's invited on our big day. My mom recently got a 2-month-old puppy. She'll be 3 months on our wedding day, but she used an online site to be her service dog. I am against fake service dogs and the issues that people who have real service dog and medical alert dogs face because of people getting these fake designations. This puppy is now her emotional support animal, and she asked if the venue would be okay with her bringing her puppy to the wedding. Every time I tried to tell her no, she'd interrupt me, going on and on about how well trained this puppy is, how it will stay in her lap, how the venue can't deny her, she has all the paperwork, on and on, not letting me say anything. I talked to my fiance after I hung up with my mom, and we both agree it's not appropriate to bring a puppy to the wedding, and we don't want to have the wedding interrupted by barking or any other things that could arise from the pet. My mom has never trained any dogs she's previously had, has never been a good pet owner, keeping up with medical needs, get rid of pets once she's tired of them, so I know that in the 1 month she has had this puppy, there's no way that it's trained and would be as well behaved as she claims. Even when we were on the phone, Mom was complaining at the dog for jumping on her and playing. I do not want to say we are having a very informal event. Children are welcome with special things planned for them, and if anyone has a medical alert or assistant dog, they would be welcome with open arms. My issue is just with my mother's online registered emotional support puppy that I'm certain is not trained. I sent my mom a text apologizing but stating that we would not feel comfortable with pets at the wedding. There'll be too many people, lots of kids, lots of food and dancing, music, and too much going on. She's now not responding to me, and I am sure I have upset her. So I want to know, am I the a-hole or a bridezilla about this? In my opinion, Opi is not the a-hole, because if she understands her mother and has literally grown up with her all these years, she knows her mother's limit. But I also believe that there should be a compromise. She should allow her mother to come with the dog or the puppy in this case, but have the puppy restrained either by the hotel or the venue. Have them have a separate room to keep the dog in until they're done with at least the major portion of the wedding. The dog or the puppy can run amok through the reception. That's my opinion. What's your opinion, guys? Actually, Opi comes back with an update. First, I want to thank everyone for responding. I'm overwhelmed with how many people posted back to me and wanted to try and answer and provide a bit more. We still have 2 weeks to the wedding. I've told my mother that she's not to bring the puppy, but she may try to pull something. Our venue was of no help. They would not ask her to leave or block her entrance. If anything, they offered to hold the puppy for her during the service and then let it free for the reception. I've asked a friend of my grooms to stand guard and watch for my mother in any parcels, bags, or boxes she may try to bring in. He's been given permission to do whatever is needed. For those that ask if this is my hill to die on, or say it's just a puppy, worry about other things, or it's your mom, All I have to say is she is 60 years old. She has lived for 60 years without an emotional support animal with no problems. She has only had this puppy for a short time, about a month and a half. Her dependence on this emotional support animal to function is simply not there and is not critical or necessary to her health or well-being. After a lifetime of dealing with my mother and her antics, those who say she wants attention hit the nail on the head. This is my mother's attempt to do something to be special and draw attention to herself. She's had 3 weddings. This time is for us to celebrate the love of my fiancé, our children, and myself. We have saved and had a long engagement to ensure we could do things the way we want them. We are doing all of this financially independently and simply want a good time with good company without having to worry about silly stuff like a puppy yipping during our wedding video, or darting under our feet during our first dance, or jumping on someone with muddy paws. I'm already trying to deal with the other stuff my mother will pull. But yes, this is my hill to die on. I will update again after the wedding. I guess, as I said, OP truly understands her mother. And everyone in the comments, most of the people in the comment section do think that OP is the a-hole. Because one, actual service animals are older than 3 months old. They need to have some sense of self. And a 3-month-old is a child in dog years. So they are still very playful and don't have enough experience. They might be trained, but I don't think they are trained enough to be good service animals. Probably just being selected to be a candidate at that time. What do you think, guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? And please comment down below if you'd like to hear an update on this, if OP updates this story. Thank you guys for tuning into today's episode. It was a pleasure having you. Don't forget to comment down below with any suggestions or comments for any of the stories from today. Thank you so much once more and hope to see you next time. Bye!